Hello, I'm Perry from Rennet and Rind, and I'm here to speak to you personally because you received one of these beautiful boxes. The Rennet and Rind new, smaller and improved box. Had some really great reviews about this. I was a bit concerned because it is a little bit smaller than our usual boxes, but actually they fit in well, really protect the cheese and keep it nice and chilled. So really pleased with these over the Christmas break. You will get in your box some tasting notes. Obviously the 5 cheeses, there's 4 here, I couldn't fit 5 on my piece of paper. And so you get some biscuits, courtesy of Perry Wakeman, who are kind of my favourite cracker at the moment. And obviously I should introduce myself and what I'm about. I'm an Affineur, I'm someone who matures cheeses, who looks at the profiles of cheeses and tries to improve them, because milk doesn't magically become cheese. It gets made, and then us Affineurs have to step in and make it better, hopefully, and really know what's going on inside the cheese. So that's what I do here. I've been Britain's best Affineur of the year for 3 years. I took a year off and came back and won again last year now. I've been honoured by the French, by the work that I do with the British cheese industry. And I'm a super jury. So at the World Cheese Awards, the biggest event in the world for cheese, I represented Great Britain last year on that stage. So hopefully those credentials help you out a little bit to understand, maybe I know a little bit about cheese, and these selections, plan them ahead, work out what's going to work in the maturing rooms. Maturing room's looking a little bit bare after Christmas, but we start again like every year. But these cheeses have been matured specifically for the month of January. The idea behind this is they're a little bit lighter, a little bit moreish, so you can enjoy them. Let me put that knife down, that looks quite aggressive. They're there for you to give you something, but not to be too overwhelming. Christmas, I guarantee you, looking at the boxes that we sent out, you guys were eating a huge amount of cheese. So you want something a little bit lighter, something that will challenge you ever so slightly, but something a little bit more easier going. So let's get into the cheese. So the first cheese up we have is Wigmore, made by Village Made Cheeses. I love this cheese, did really well over the Christmas break. This is a brie style, but made with sheep's milk. So if we have a look at the rind, we've got that penicillium that's growing on there as well, that little white bloom that you typically see in the in the brie. But the colouring, obviously you can see that's a white and almost slightly ivory. So we've got a little bit of age on it, which is just what we want to see, because it just provides it with a little bit more complexity, this cheese. So a little bit younger, it's a little bit fresh, a little bit, can be a bit meh, but a little bit more age, gives that good breakdown. Aroma, nice and light, that slight butter mushroom on the rind that we're getting from most brie styles that we get. A little touch of savoury note, very fresh, a little bit lactic, not very fresh, just a touch lactic, which is nice. It's got good cutability, which is good. Let's have a taste. Great texture, like claggy, hangs around in a good way. Milky, fresh, good balance of salt there, a little bit briny, which is great. That mushroom comes in from rind, a little bit of nuts, and then it just dissipates with a nice bit of savoury effort behind there. Really moreish, hence why on your tasting notes, you want to try the cheeses in order, because this will give you so much more when your palate hasn't got other cheeses to contend with, hence why we've chosen it for our first cheese. Really nice. Loads of length in that. I thought it would be much shorter than that, but that's a nice, pleasant length. Doesn't leave a bitter aftertaste in the mouth. Really great. Wigmore. Next up, an absolute classic of a British cheese. We've got Catherine Mead's Cornish Yarg, made famous by Catherine Mead, the guys at Liner Dairy. Otto, her son, is kind of taking over the dairy now, doing some work. Really great guy as well. And this is obviously covered in a nettle rind on the outside, which is really unique. No one else does it that I know of in the UK. And it's like a territorial style, so think lactic, fresh, more near that yogurty area, a slight crumble. These do have a little bit more age in it, so you've got less of that kind of crumbly Wensleydale that you're associated with, which is a little bit more smoother, but a nice covering of the mould on the outside. Aroma, a little bit musty, earthy coming from the rind, a little more herbaceous in terms of plant activity, because the vine in the middle, more of that lactic vibe that goes in. So I'm going to be horrible and cut the nose off. Best compliment you can pay to a cheesemaker is just getting stuck in. Don't worry about the cheese etiquette, just enjoy. Let's have a taste. So immediately I'm getting that texture I was talking about. A little bit more age, has knitted that curd together. You're getting a more solid, slightly more akin to cheddar kind of texture that's in there. but a really beautiful, lovely, delicate, slightly tonicky at the finish taste that kind of leans into lactic milk. That's where we're at. Lovely, beautiful, subtle, not too overpowering. Nice flavour on the rind, a little bit more challenge that's in the rind, but another nice, easygoing cheese that you could just keep on dipping more into without being overwhelmed. Cornish Yarg, fantastic. Next cheese up, something a little bit more powerful. So we've got Sussex Camembert, made by Alsop and Walker, Arthur Alsop, great cheesemaker. Got this lovely sort of colour, you can compare the differences. This is a Camembert, but they are from the similar family that you have there. So you can see the colour differential. So you've got that cow's milk coming in that gives that more richness, more carotene that's in there. Got a little bit of the openings, bubbling, a little bit more kind of bacteria activity that's in there. Much stronger. Cabbage, a little bit of brassica, touch of ammonia on the rind. Ammonia is not typically a bad thing, means breakdowns happening, blah. Let's have a taste. Once again, lovely texture. Quite similar to the Wigmore, just a little bit more power in there. Nice, fresh, clean salinity. Comes back with that light brassica cabbage note that's in there. The rind then tips into a little bit of more sautéed mushrooms, so a little bit more realised mushroom rather than fresh, but has that earthiness in there as well, which is really nice. Another really pleasant cheese that shouldn't overwhelm the palate too much, but should be a really nice eating experience to sit by the TV or with your friends. Next cheese up, we have Isle of Mull. Really great cheddar, made on the Isle of Mull. This has done really well over Christmas for us, and there was a few batches on the back shelf while I was in the shop, and I was like, I had different ideas for a cheddar, but I'm going to pull this down because I think it's going to complement really well. Normally it's a big, powerful, rambunctious cheddar, but this one's dialed down a little bit on the shelf in the shop. So I pulled it back to here to get it ready for the boxes. Aroma, really salt and vinegar. I'm thinking Pringle kind of vibe that I'm getting when I pop open that lid for the first time. Obviously not as intense. Pringles are not even crisps these days, but you're getting that kind of intense salt and vinegar vibe from the aroma. That's what I feel. The texture is sturdy. We're looking at the Yarg, but a little bit more chew, we'd hope. Let's have a taste. Not as tangy, oh no, actually, take that back. I was going to say not as tangy as I was expect from the salt and vinegar vibe, but that tang lifts up immediately into that acid, sour area. Immediately dips that back down as it joins the palate. Texture is a little bit granular, a little bit sandy, probably a slight negative on that. Leaves the palate full on. Everything's going on there. Really aromatic that's in there. That salt and vinegar is coming back interlaced with a slight savoury beefiness that's there as well. You can tell it's got tons of length. It keeps on changing as it goes through the cheese, as I'm tasting it. Really enjoyable. Great to sit with these. We're missing a little bit of that acid, and that acid spike works so well within this cheese. So final cheese is your Stichelton. So Stichelton, let me make a little bit of room here. Stichelton is made by Joe Schneider over in Nottingham, Welbeck Estate. Great milk quality. This is a Stilton recipe, essentially made with raw milk. And Joe's a really great cheesemaker of Stilton. And you can see the blue veining that's in there already. And this was another cheese over the Christmas period where I had different plans for January's box and sort of moved this in because I really loved the area that it was in as well. So on the aroma, you've got that typical biscuity digestive that you're getting from blue. A little more bitterness in this one. Rind is a little bit more rambunctious, but leans into musty rather than ammonia, which is better for this type of cheese. Let's have a taste. Really nice crumble. Holds up a bit on the palate. Got that twiglety mix between that tang, which is lovely. Savoury through and through. Little bit of lovely bitterness. That bitterness is really complex. It sits in that astringent area, but not offensive. But it's so twiglety, so marmite, so yeast. Really delicious. Oh, pow. And when it leaves the palate, it really opens up, becomes quite tart in a really lovely way. That is a delicious blue. And that is your 5 cheeses for the month of January. So Wigmore, Yarg, Sussex Camembert, Isle of Mull and Stichelton are my selection for January. It's a really tasty board. And I think on review, the objective was not to overwhelm too much, provide a bit of challenge, but after a Christmas of a lot of cheese, to just tone it down a little bit and go with something that can be enjoyed for a period of time and not too, oh, I can't have any more. And I think that achieves the purpose. So I'm really happy with these cheeses. Thank you so much. Keep on supporting British Heartland Cheese. Thank you for all the subscribers out there. We really appreciate your orders every month. It's ballooned since Christmas. I don't know what happened. It must have been the Christmas box. The 5-star reviews were outrageous. We had so many this year, which I really appreciate. It's always a time where I worry so much about the cheeses that I put out and people are going to be enjoying over Christmas. So the 5-star reviews being more than ever was really quite phenomenal. So hopefully all these people that enjoyed the Christmas box moved over to subscription, which is great. So enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next one.